Hello and welcome back to another episode of Waverly Zoo. So in the last episode we finished building our bear enclosures over here, and today I've started a new enclosure over here. And I believe I mentioned in the last episode roughly what my plan was over here. It has changed a bit, but you can see this is the beginnings of my penguin enclosure. And I think I did say that I was going to have quite a large building with some restaurants and things in, and I played around with the idea but I didn't like it, so I'm going to do some restaurants, or at least some cafe areas separate, and I'm just going to focus on penguins over here. So I thought there were two ways of doing this. The first way, obviously with penguins, is to have the water area above ground so that you can look into the side of the water, which you do see in a lot of places, and it's a fairly common thing for players of Planet Zoo to do. And I have done it before and it's okay, but it always ends up with the enclosure looking very over the top, I feel. So I just wanted to go with this idea. So this one is that you have the water sunk into the ground, and then you have a raised platform so that you can look down into the water. So that's what I've done here, as you can see. So this was the original path. I've created this raised platform here along the edge of the water for the penguins, and then a couple of ramps coming up the side here. And there's the beginnings of my backstage over here. So this, as you can see, this is the pathway outside of the administration building, and so I've just continued it along here, and this is my rough shape for my penguin building. There will be an internal area here, I believe is the plan, for the penguins to come in here somehow. And then the rest of it, there'll be my usual. I'll put the zookeeper's hut and the staff room inside here, and obviously there'll be all the various fake doors here. I'll probably have something here, like a large door here, for access for trucks and things. Obviously the animals would need to be brought into the enclosure and be taken out as well, so they need some sort of larger access gate. So that'll probably be through here, and I think the plan, the habitat barrier will come right over here, and there might be like a little courtyard area on this side as well as this side, I think. And then I think what I might do is actually include this area between the ramps here as part of the enclosure as well. And I'll have these bits closed off. So on this side there'll be probably rock formations under here and under here, but then I might leave this middle bit open so that the penguins can actually swim across here, walk underneath the path and come out into this area. So it gives people walking by something to potentially see before having to come up the ramp. I think that's my plan at the moment. As you can see, very early days. So what I'll do now is go away and do a bit of building, and then I will be back in just a minute, and let's see how far I progress. Okay, I made a bit of progress with the building here. My penguins keep on escaping. I put a couple of penguins in just to test, to make sure that they can wander around the area appropriately, and obviously there's no barriers or anything in yet, so they keep on legging it. Never mind. So let's have a look at the building first. I've just decorated it a bit. I've put one of these sort of ridges around the roof. Very simple. You just put the roof on, but you sink it down a little bit and it creates this lovely raised edge. And then I've gone with a strip of this stone around it. I just thought it looked nice. Aesthetically pleasing, I suppose you could say. doors, I love these big doors. These are fantastic, these things. So this is exactly what you would have on this sort of building. So you'd have your little door for the people to come and go, but if you need some sort of van or lorry or something to access or to carry larger items into the enclosure, that's what you would have, something big like this. And there'll probably be another one here. My usual, I love these little switches as well. These are great little things. It doesn't really make sense that it's there, but maybe it's, I don't know, the switch for the light, I think, rather than the door. The door's just a basic door handle, but maybe you can turn the light on with this, or maybe it's the switch to make these shutters go up and down. I don't know. I like these. I just like to put these little details on it. It just adds to the realism a little bit. And then inside I have put exactly what I said, my keeper hut and my staff room. They were a little bit too tall, so I've had to put this sort of raised area here on the building, but I didn't mind that. Got a bit of stone showing through there. Might have to do something about that. I don't mind this sort of thing. You know, you have to adapt your building according to what happens, and it just, you know, adds a bit of extra dimension onto the building, so I don't mind that. I think I've made it look half decent at least. And then obviously the barrier for the enclosure comes in here, and then you got your door. So all of this I will have to close off. And then I've put this hard floor down. Every penguin enclosure that I've ever seen, they don't have any earth, no grass, no mud, no anything like that. It's always concrete. Penguins are very messy creatures, and by messy I mean they poo a lot, and so quite simply it's easy to clean. If you had grass or mud, it would just become slush basically. They're very similar to ducks like that. I've actually had ducks myself as pets, and they are filthy. You can't have any sort of grass or mud in their enclosure because they just churn it up, and it gets wet and messy and horrible. So everywhere is always concrete. So that's what I've done here. So it's a basic technique of using the ceiling as floor again, and then I've put these steps in right down to the level of the water here, so the penguins can get up and down here, and they can obviously get up and down all of these steps. As this one over here is demonstrating before he makes a run for it. Oh no, this one's making a run for it. Look at it. Run away! Freedom! Oh dear, you gotta love those penguins, haven't you? Right, so yes, so this is what I've done so far down here as well. Just block this off with concrete, and yeah, I think that looks really nice so far. Very happy with that. Obviously more detailing to be done on the building, and then I've got to start doing the rock work, I think, around the edge here, and working out exactly what I do over here as well. So let me disappear again, and I will be back in just a moment. Right then, quite a lot achieved now. As you can see, I've done a lot of this rock work around here to block off the steps, and around the building as well. I've been doing this on I did this on some of the bear enclosures as well, where you put these rocks on the side here. It's exactly what they do in zoos to make the animals feel more at home, and I think it looks quite nice. Obviously these are fake rocks, you wouldn't be real snow boulders. I put some of the coolers in. Not that they're necessary, but actually I just love the look of them. I think these things just look great with the steam coming out and the fan turning. So they can be whatever you want really, but I just like them. I think they look really nice. Put another one of these doors in here, and I changed the colour of this to sort of make it blend in a bit more with the enclosure. Obviously the one on the outside is a very dark blue, and I've made this one a nice light blue. I thought the dark one would have just stood out a bit too much, and you don't want that to be the focal point really. So yeah, I think that looks quite nice. Obviously just a few windows up here, and I stuck a door up here as well to suggest that there's maybe a second layer in here, or some steps you can get up onto the roof. Again, just a few windows here, and again windows on the back, and another door, and I will obviously connect this with a little backstage pathway. Obviously it doesn't go anywhere inside, but it's you know, there would be multiple entrances on a building like this. Just gives me another option of just an extra little backstage area. More rockwork all around here to block off the whole habitat. As you can see, the penguins are busy pooping. Big surprise. That's all these animals seem to do in this game. I've got some enrichment in. This one here. Problem with these ones is they changed the flooring. So where I'd put the concrete down, and the concrete was very flat to the grass underneath, you put one of these down and it raises up the grass. So I've had to just put a few rocks sunk down in here just to sort of disguise it and make it blend in a little bit. I'm fine with that. I think that looks okay. Again, more just rocks along here blocking it off, and then like I said, this bit is left open along here, and as you can see, just a few rock formations in here, another cooler and a sprinkler as well. So from here you can enjoy the penguins coming over to this area, and then obviously you would just head up here and get a nice view of them, hopefully swimming in the water. And then of course I've done a little formation here. You often see this, unfortunately, in real life. Penguins go through very small holes. Certainly the enclosures I've seen, their bed areas tend to have very small holes, only just slightly bigger than the actual penguins themselves, where they go inside, and then they have quite small areas actually inside as well. And you can't do it in the game, unfortunately, because of their walking area. They need this much width to walk through, which is really annoying because it's unrealistic. And I'm all about realism for the animals, but unfortunately that's as narrow as I can make the holes before the penguins can't walk through it, which is quite ridiculous when you look at the width of a penguin and you look at the width of that gap. You could fit 4 or 5 penguins side by side walking through there. But that's the game, unfortunately. We have to abide by its rules. But anyway, that's what I've done, and as you can see, I've decorated inside here. A cooler on each side, blocked off this wall here with the rocks, and I will put some of the bedding in here that the penguins like. They're sort of planks of wood, aren't they? Sort of like pallets of wood that the penguins like to stand on for their sleeping. So there will be some of those in there. So we're making some nice progress. I do want to do something up here on the steps, some sort of covering, I think, up here, some sort of shelter for people. Not too sure what. I'm gonna play around with that, and there will be foliage as well around here. Obviously, just sort of blending everything together. So let me go away again and come back and see where I get up to. Okay, here we go. I'm just about done, I think, with the penguins, so let me explain everything now. I have done quite a lot since the last update. So as you can see, I have created a shelter on these 3 segments here. I quite like it. It's a bit modern, which is what I'm trying to go for in this zoo. I didn't want to cover everything up. I wanted it to be just small segments like that. So you've got sort of 2 there, 3 there, and then 4 there. So it's nice and uneven, which is good. I don't like symmetry, so that's worked nicely. I wasn't too keen on all this snow rocks, so what I've done is use these tundra rocks sunk in with them, and it makes it look much more realistic, like you've got actual rocks there and then the snow has sort of fallen on them. So I've done that all around here. You can see just sunk the rocks in, just adds a little bit more realism to it. Couldn't do too much around here because the problem is sinking them in here made them poke out inside, and it just didn't work, so I'm not worried too much about that. What else is, well, as you can see, there's a lot more penguins in here, and they've all been having babies as well, so some of these are in fact already babies that have now grown up. So I put the bedding in here, these wooden beds. As you can see, the penguins love sitting on them for their sleep. Oh, look at that, they're so cute. So that's good, so the penguins are happy in there. I have built this bridge. The reason I did that was because when the penguins started breeding and having babies, some of them had babies over this side, and of course the penguins can't swim when they're young, so they had no way of coming back over here to get to the food, to get to the shelter. So I built this wooden bridge here so the penguin babies could go from one side to the other, and that works just fine, so that's good. Happy with that. And you know, some of the penguins do actually use it themselves rather than swimming, so that's nice. So that worked out very nicely. Obviously the usual sort of benches and things here, and I've put the information boards up here, just a couple of them dotted around here. Obviously there's a lot of foliage. Like I said, I've blended it in with the trees here, just using the same, again, nice English trees. I think these are ash. Yeah, these are ash trees all around here, and blending it in again over here with the rest of the area. And then this is quite a major change that I've put on the end. I realised that I didn't really have wheelchair access up here. These slopes are too steep for wheelchairs. And like I said from the start, I do want this zoo to be relatively realistic, so I want to do these little additions like wheelchair access, because it's what you would get in a real zoo. So that's what I've done here. So this is the technique where you place a raised bit of path sort of here, and then when you blend them together, when you join them, it automatically creates this softer slope. And so as you can see, this is a much gentler slope up here than you would get if you just built it normally, which is roughly that angle. That's about as shallow as you get it when you just drag it up and down. So you have to use this other technique of placing various pieces, and then when you join them you can create this lovely gentle slope. Which is just perfect for wheelchairs. It's gone a little bit funky just in this corner here, actually, unfortunately, where it's blended into the path, but that's fine. I can live with that. So you've got your wheelchair access, you've got your seats, so it's quite a nice little area now where you can come up here and watch them. It's really nice. You can actually see into the water from up here, so you get to enjoy the penguins having a good swim, which is very nice. Let me just put it to night time, and we can see what I've done with the lighting. Subtle is what I would say here. So you've got an individual light under each of these canopies here, and then as you come over here, I've used spotlights, just a couple of them. So you've got one here, just one under here, and then one more at this end, and it just highlights the water enough so that at night you can look down and you can watch your penguins swimming around in the dark, and I think that looks quite nice. Not too bright, but bright enough so you can actually see what's going on. Obviously you've got your fake lights from the windows up here, and that's all I've done. I didn't worry about putting one in here for the penguins. They can quite happily live in the dark. They don't mind that. That's their sleeping area after all. So yeah, let's have a look from up the top. Put it back to daytime, and there we go. I think it's a lovely area actually. I'm really happy with how this has turned out. I'm enjoying doing all the tree work. It makes everything look much more natural, like you're really building a zoo around nature and around the wildlife. So all of these trees, they're all very established. They've been here for a long time. These trees would probably be 40 or 50 years old, some of these tall ones. So I like the idea that the zoo has been constructed around them. So that's what I'm going for here. So yeah, that's my penguins. Let me know what you think. Hopefully you're happy with how it's turned out. If you've got any comments or suggestions on how I could have done it better, then please do let me know. But personally, I am happy with the outcome. Next, I'm going to be doing a food court, and that's going to be over the other side of the zoo. So that's my plan for the next episode. But for now, thank you very, very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I hope you had fun listening to me waffle on about penguins. So let's leave you with a shot of a few penguins. There we go. Lots of penguins there. So brilliant. Thank you very much. Hopefully I will see you in the next one. until then, take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon. So bye bye for now.